morning and welcome back to the Devils in the Detail podcast. I'm Isla.
I'm Raylyn.
And I'm Addie.
Today we are welcoming back Sasha and Serafina, who started the SNS podcast, to interview our guest.
Today we have two very special guests.
The first guest is Mike DeWine, who is the governor of our state.
Governor DeWine was our 70th governor and also spent time as our Attorney General, a member of the U.S. House of Representatives, and also was one of our state senators.
Our second guest today is Lieutenant Governor Jim Tressel.
Lieutenant Governor Tressel was just appointed into his role this year. Before serving this role, he was the president of Youngstown State.
Lieutenant Governor Tressel also spent time coaching at Ohio State and Youngstown State, where he won 5 national championships between both programs.
Now let's get into the interview.
Thanks for taking the time to join us on our podcast. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Good to be with you. I brought a special guest, Lieutenant Governor Jim Tressel.
Thanks for coming. Now let's get on to the interview. What inspired you to become the governor?
Well, that's a really a good question. You know, I got interested in politics in government when I was about your age. There was a presidential campaign going on between John Kennedy and Richard Nixon, so I got excited about that, and always was interested in that. But really, when I was in college, Miami University, thought I was going to be a teacher. I thought I was going to be a social studies teacher, and I actually student taught. But then I decided to go to law school and graduate from law school. The first job I got was as an assistant county prosecuting attorney. And then it wasn't long after that I decided to run for county prosecutor. So that's kind of how I got involved in politics. And then, I've done a lot of different things. I was in the state Senate, then I was in Congress, the U.S. House of Representatives for 8 years. After that, I was lieutenant governor, position that Jim Tressel holds now in Ohio. And then I was in the United States Senate for 12 years. And then later on, I became the Attorney General of Ohio for 8 years, and now I'll be finishing up 8 years as governor. So governor is really, I think what appealed to me and why I ran is it's an opportunity to make a difference. It's why you get involved in any kind of job or any particular political office. You want to get in there and make a difference and get things done. So that's really why I decided to run for governor.
What law school did you graduate from?
So I went to a small law school, Ohio Northern, which is in Ada, Ohio. It's near Lima. It's in the western part of the state.
What is your role as the governor?
Well, the governor is the chief executive officer of the state. Some people compare it to being president. I have a cabinet. I run, our members of our cabinet all have different departments. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources, they run our state parks. Ohio Department of Transportation, they take care of our roads and build our roads. But it does have certainly some big differences from being president. The president has to worry about foreign affairs and foreign policy and national defense. And obviously, as governor, I don't really have to do that. But I am in charge of the Ohio National Guard. So when we have a disaster or some kind of problem, maybe flooding in southern Ohio, or let's say tornadoes over in western Ohio, or some problems where we need people to come in and really help, I have the opportunity then to send in the Ohio National Guard. And we did that during COVID. The first thing we did was all the people that used to volunteer for food banks, weren't able to go out anymore. So they weren't volunteering. So we used the National Guard to frankly distribute the food from food banks. So all kinds of different things the governor gets into.
We read that you like baseball. Who's your favorite team?
My favorite team is the Cincinnati Reds. I'm from Southern Ohio, Southwest Ohio, and grew up as a Reds fan. So if you don't mind, speaking of sports, an activity. I'm going to ask the Lieutenant Governor to tell you guys what he's been doing, what he did last week in regard to physical fitness. Can you give him a little rundown of that?
Yes, sir. Well, when you ask the governor, what it is that he does, I was thinking to myself, if you asked me, what does the lieutenant governor do? I'd have to have a good answer ready. And one of the things I've learned is to take on some of the special initiatives that the governor really thinks will make a difference in our state. And one of the things he asked me to do was come up with a way that we could challenge the youth of our state to make sure we are active, healthy, working on our cardio, our balance, our strength, but also our nutrition and our sleep, so that we could reach the goals that he always sets for us, which is every Ohioan be safe, every Ohioan be healthy, and every Ohioan reach their God-given potential. So we went out and we reached out to all the school buildings with 4th through 8th graders and asked if they want to take part in a pilot program for a fitness challenge. And so we spent last week going around to 9 different cities all over the state of Ohio, going to middle schools, elementary schools, people that had signed up. I think we have over 700 schools signed up with about 175,000 students in Ohio, grades 4 through 8. And it's been fun to challenge them. We have a workbook for them. It's been a lot of fun to see them get excited about being more fit, eating better, and getting their rest.
So it's
really
a
cool.
program that we're really excited about. And when I asked the Lieutenant Governor to become Lieutenant Governor, that's one of the things that I asked him to do. So I'm very, very happy about that. But I just want him to tell you all about that, because that's what he was doing last week, and has been spent a lot of time focusing on it.
It's really cool. We look forward to that. Did either of you play any sports in school?
Well, I did in high school. I played football, basketball, and baseball, and then in college I played football at a small college, Baldwin Wallace University, up in Berea, Ohio, not too far from McDonald there. But I enjoyed that and learned a lot of lessons that I've used the rest of my life through being part of teams, which I think is important.
My record is not nearly as interesting as Lieutenant Governor's. I love sports, love all kinds of sports. As a spectator, I played baseball, ran track, but all that sort of ended in junior high school. So I didn't really do anything. No athletic endeavor in high school nor in college. So.
Do you guys like watching any other sports besides baseball?
Do I like any other sports? Was that the question? I'm sorry.
Do you like watching any other ones?
Oh yeah, sure. I like watching Ohio State football, for example, and like professional football. I'm a Bengals fan. I know that a lot of parts of the state are Browns fans, but I'm a Bengals fan again because I'm from this part of the state. Also like college basketball. When I was a kid, my favorite team was University of Dayton Flyers. And so, yeah, I like watching sports.
I always enjoyed watching women's volleyball because my youngest daughter was a setter, and we grew up. I was living in your area at the time when I was at Youngstown State University, and so I really got to appreciate how hard volleyball is when she was in middle school volleyball and then high school volleyball. And then when you watch it on like the Olympic level or you watch it on the major college level, it's incredible what it takes to be a part of that sport. So I enjoy watching volleyball.
And I should have also mentioned, our kids and now our grandkids. So we have 8 children, we have 28 grandchildren. And so we spend a lot of time watching them with sports. We have a granddaughter who plays volleyball. She's in the 8th grade. I think almost all of our grandkids have run cross country. So almost every weekend, my wife Fran and I are some in the fall at some cross country meet. And we have a grandson, 2 grandsons who play football. So there's just and I think we've seen a lot of soccer as well. We have grandkids that play soccer. So it's fun. I probably see a lot more sporting events live with grandkids than I do that I actually go to professionals. But I like it a lot. So.
What are some of your favorite spots in Ohio, and how did you discover them?
Well, we have 76 state parks, and we kind of brag about that. But the good news is they're also free, so you can go to any of our state parks, and we, really like them. The Hocking Hills are just beautiful part of the state, but we've got state parks literally all over the state, and any one of the 76 is a good place to go. When I was growing up, my parents and I camped in with a tent. My wife Fran and I, used to with our kids tent camp as well. So it's really a great place to just kind of get away and hike and fish and do whatever you want to do.
I would interject mine is Mill Creek Park, because that's right near where you're from. And all those years at Youngstown State, we would spend so much time. In fact, when we lived there, a little creek through Mill Creek Park went right through our backyard. And so we're lucky in the area you live to have Mill Creek Park right there.
Topic in our school is the cell phone ban. We wanted to see if any of your kids or grandkids have voiced any positive or negative thoughts about the ban.
About the ban, you say?
Yeah.
Cell phone. Well, I have a granddaughter who is an English teacher in the Columbus area, and she's very happy about it. I do know that some of my grandkids were told by some of their friends, tell your grandfather, not to ban phones in schools. So we certainly, you get some of that reaction, but as I've gone around, my wife and I have gone around to different schools all over Ohio, now that, schools are really now banning them, the reaction I think has been pretty good, and students do adjust to it. Anytime there's a change in your life, there's some consternation, but I think once they get used to it, they're doing fine. And one of the things that we see is schools that have banned them all day, for example, in the lunchroom cafeteria, students are talking a lot more together. They can't be on their phones, they can't be texting back and forth, so they're talking close together, and kind of the way they maybe used to be able to do that. So.
Do you guys take any advice from your grandkids?
Well, I listen a lot to my grandkids. I mean, the one way that, there's a lot of ways to stay up on what's going on in the world and make sure that you understand different generations. But to me, the easiest way is just talking to my grandkids or just listening to what they have to say about all kinds of different things. So yeah. It's important. I mean, as far as my children, we have, as I said, we have 8 children. They're all doing different things, but I've learned a lot just from my children. We have one son, for example, who's an organic farmer. He has a PhD in botany. So I listen to him in regard to some environmental issues and things like that. So. We always are learning, and we can't ever stop learning, particularly if we want to stay active in society and continue to make a contribution. I think it's particularly important for someone who's in elected office. I'm obviously a different generation from you, many generations away from you, so how do I make sure that I know what's going on? And that's, in my case, would be talking to my grandkids. So.
And if I could add to it, we had a fun thing. We're sitting here right now in the governor's residence where he holds a lot of meetings and so forth. One night, about a month or so ago, the governor allowed me to bring 99 of my former Ohio State football players that I coached to the governor's residence so that they could share with him what they were thinking about that was going on in their lives. Many of them own businesses. Many of them have families. They're trying to own homes. They travel the roads of the state. And so it was fun to learn from them because they were all like age 35 to 45, which is, younger than we are.
Older than you are.
And older than you are. But they had children your age. And so I think anytime you can learn from one another, it's valuable.
What was it like coaching Ohio State?
You know, it was a lot of fun. It's fun being kind of the flagship school in the state, because even though, you know, you might live in McDonald and root for YSU, you also root for Ohio State. Or if you live in Toledo, you might root for the University of Toledo, but you also root for Ohio State. So it was so much fun kind of being a part of the whole state and feeling like you were representing the whole state, you know, on the highest level. And, you know, you got to be around some wonderful student athletes. You got to be around a lot of enthusiasm. So it was a fun 10 years.
That's all we have today for you guys. Thanks again for taking time to answer some questions. We hope you guys have a great day. And
You have
that's
great
a wrap.
day. Thank you very much.
And that's a wrap.